Hello and welcome to the Intermittent Fasting Gems with Jen podcast. I'm your host, Jen, a middle-aged Michigan mama, wife, and teacher who in 2021 stumbled upon this crazy cool thing called intermittent fasting. And before I knew it, I'd lost 46 pounds in 4 months and gained an incredible lifestyle filled with complete food freedom. If you're hungry for unique, no-nonsense fasting tips that actually work, you're in the right place. So whether you're walking the dog, folding that last load of laundry, or cruising to your 9 to 5, let's start fasting our way to freedom together. Well, hello there, my fabulous fasting friends. I was hoping that today we could talk dirty. Dirty fasting, that is. Are you curious about dirty fasting and what it is and whether or not it can actually help you lose weight? Dirty fasting versus clean fasting is actually a pretty hot topic in the world of intermittent fasting. And today I'm going to define and explain exactly what dirty fasting is and how it differs from clean fasting. Additionally, we'll get down to the nitty-gritty about whether dirty fasting actually works and if it realistically will help you reach your desired health and weight loss goals. Finally, I'll leave you with the 4 best clean intermittent fasting drink choices that will help you get the best intermittent fasting results possible along your journey. So, grab a glass of water or a steamy cup of black coffee. Just hold off on the creamer for now. Sit back, relax, and get ready to talk dirty. All right, so defining dirty fasting can get a little muddy, no pun intended. In simple terms, dirty fasting is a bit more lax or flexible than traditional intermittent fasting or clean fasting, which we'll define in just a minute. It's referred to as dirty because it's associated with a bit of laziness or cheating on your diet. Dirty fasting is a popular fasting option because it's less strict when it comes to the amount of calories that are allowed while you are in your fasting window. Okay, so you might be wondering just how many calories are allowed. And of course, that's also debatable. However, many experts agree that keeping your calories below 100 during your fasting window is acceptable for a dirty intermittent fasting plan. And just like the somewhat muddy definition of dirty fasting, it's also difficult to give you a nice, squeaky clean definition of clean fasting. And that's because, just like dirty fasting, there is also a lot of debate about what actually constitutes a clean fast. I, however, learned about clean fasting from Jen Stevens, who I believe really is a true intermittent fasting expert. So Jen is the author of my 2 favorite intermittent fasting books, Delay, Don't Deny, and Fast, Feast, Repeat. I also believe the term clean fasting was actually coined by Jen herself. Clean fasting to Jen and to me means doing everything we can do to not spike our insulin levels during our fasting window. And this is because insulin is a storage hormone. And since the main goal during a fast is to burn the most fat possible, we want insulin levels to be as low as they possibly can while we are in our fasting period or our fasting window. However, with that being said, clean fasting is a much stricter form of fasting in regards to calorie intake during our fasting period. It entails sticking to only consuming extremely low or 0-calorie unflavored beverages that won't raise insulin levels during fasting hours. And yes, I said unflavored beverages. So flavored water, even if it has 0 calories, is not considered acceptable during a clean fast. I have a bunch more information on this in many of my blog posts that can be found on my website, sowhatifwithjen.com. All right, so no flavored drinks when you are fasting clean. Save the flavored stuff for when you are in your eating window. It's about delaying, not denying yourself, like Jen says. Clean fasting also means staying away from beverages with artificial sweeteners, even those like diet soda that have 0 calories. Okay, so let's get to the burning question you're all curious about. Can you still lose weight with dirty fasting? Unfortunately, this is actually another gray area question where it really is difficult to give you a straight up black and white answer. So instead, I am going to refer to my own personal experience on this one. And again, I am not a doctor. I am just a teacher, a certified elementary teacher who figured out, like I said, how to lose 46 pounds in 4 months with intermittent fasting and keep it off. So in January of 2021, after reading Jen Stevens' books, Delay, Don't Deny, and Fast, Feast, Repeat, this is when I began my intermittent fasting weight loss journey. After following Jen's definition of clean fasting, I successfully lost 46 pounds of body fat in 4 months with not just intermittent fasting, but clean intermittent fasting. And I am all but positive that I wouldn't have had such awesome results without the clean fast method. Plus, I've also continued to follow a clean fasting plan, which I absolutely believe has helped me to maintain my weight loss and feel really incredible health-wise while doing it. In the last few years, since starting my blog and intermittent fasting Facebook support group, I've also mentored, coached, and helped several people lose a significant amount of weight with intermittent fasting. And interesting enough, many of those people dabbled with dirty fasting early on in their weight loss journey. However, almost all of them who found real health and weight loss success eventually, usually sooner than later, made the game-changing switch from dirty to clean fasting. I'll leave the link to their testimonials in the show notes so you can read all about their inspiring stories yourself. So, just like most decisions in life that have to be made, there are both pros and cons to dirty fasting. It's ultimately up to you to decide what works best for you, your body, your lifestyle, and your overall health and weight loss goals. All right, let's break it down together and discuss both the pros and the cons of dirty fasting. The pros of dirty fasting include, number 1, you might lose some weight, or it may help you maintain your weight by reducing overall calorie intake. 2, it may make it easier for you to stick to your intermittent fasting plan because it may feel more flexible and less strict compared to traditional clean fasting. And now for the cons of dirty fasting. Number 1, you potentially may not experience as much fat loss or reap the full health benefits like autophagy, which is a cellular cleaning process that happens inside the body, as you possibly could with traditional clean fasting. Number 2, it could quite possibly make it harder to reach and or maintain ketosis and fat burning. Number 3, it's important to recognize that dirty fasting often lacks clear guidelines, sometimes making it more difficult to follow properly. And instead of eating fewer calories, an unstructured plan can easily lead to consuming too many calories during fasting times. And this, unfortunately, could possibly even lead to weight gain. And finally, the fourth issue is that dirty fasting may lead to fluctuations in energy levels and blood sugar levels. Additionally, many people who have tried dirty fasting report that they experience intense hunger cravings, and this can absolutely make it more difficult to feel comfortable during fasting times, especially for longer or extended fasts. So while dirty fasting may seem easier for some people to stick to compared to strict fasting, I personally have to choose Team Clean. When I combine the research, my own personal experience, and the results of those around me, I ultimately believe that consuming too many calories, as well as certain foods and drinks that create an insulin response or a spike, can diminish or negate many of the potential weight loss and health benefits that are associated with the traditional clean fasting plan. Well, there you have it. Honestly, though, since every body is different, you might just have to play around with each type of fasting, both dirty and clean, and see what intermittent fasting system works best for you. Now, if you've decided to jump on Team Clean with me, let's dive deep into the details of the clean fast so that you can get the absolute best and quickest possible health and weight loss results. With that being said, I'd like to leave you today with the 4 best clean drinks that you can enjoy safely during your fasting window. These 4 drinks won't spike your insulin or break your fast. Ready, set, here we go. Number 1, good old plain water. Number 2, plain sparkling mineral water. Honestly, I could do a whole podcast episode about how awesome this stuff is for curbing hunger and cutting cravings. However, it's important to note that you absolutely must make sure it is plain. I really like the LaCroix brand. I think that's how you say it, LaCroix. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but they come in blue cans that say innocent on them. Other great brands are the Bella V that you can get from Aldi. Topo Chico is good. I think that's actually Jen Stevens' favorite. And San Pellegrino is pretty yummy too. I generally stick to the LaCroix and the Bella V because they seem to be the cheapest and they taste great. All right. Clean drink number 3 is plain black coffee. I adore my black coffee, and I actually drink black coffee until about 1 or 2 in the afternoon every day. I do believe for me, it does help boost my metabolism, helps me power through my fasting window. You just can't put any of the fun stuff in it like creamer or stevia or almond milk. And finally, drink number 4 is unflavored herbal tea, green, black, whatever you like. Again, just not flavored, so no peppermint or anything like that. Phew! That was a lot of information, but I certainly hope you found it to be helpful. I know that fasting clean has been a game changer for me. I have less cravings, more energy, and I get way better overall results. Okay, so let's do a quick episode recap. Dirty fasting is a more flexible, less strict way of fasting that typically allows for up to about 100 calories during your fasting window. Clean fasting, on the other hand, is a more strict approach to fasting that does not allow for calories or flavors or artificial sweeteners during fasting periods. If you choose to clean fast, you should stick to the 4 best intermittent fasting drinks that will not compromise your fast. And those 4 drinks are: number 1, plain water; 2, plain sparkling mineral water; 3, plain black coffee; and number 4, unflavored herbal tea. Thanks so much for listening today. Be sure to tune into my next episode where I'll be sharing the 8 best foods to break your intermittent fast with. Foods that are both safe for your tummy and that may help accelerate your weight loss results too. I'll also do a quick recap of all of the awesome intermittent fasting gems that were given by our August fasting success story guest, Laura Wilson. Make it a great day. Hey, thank you so much for choosing to spend part of your day listening to this episode of the Intermittent Fasting Gems with Jen podcast. If you think these tips could help a friend or a family member, please consider sharing this episode with them. And if you really enjoyed the show, taking a minute or two to leave a positive review would be so appreciated. Tune in for new 15 to 25-minute episodes released on the 10th, 20th, and 30th of each month. Episodes will feature solo shows filled with IF hacks that have worked for me, as well as episodes where I get to chat with fun folks of all ages who've experienced incredible success with intermittent fasting. If you have questions or want more unique intermittent fasting health and weight loss tips, tricks, and recipes, please visit my website and blog at sowhatifwithjen.com. Finally, we'd love to welcome you into our free intermittent fasting Facebook support group, So What If with Jen. Find all of these links in the show notes below. And as always, I hope you spend your day loving without fear and laughing until your cheeks hurt.